Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Leader Path Show. How are you today? This was a little bit of an impromptu show. Uh, I wrote a newsletter today and I wanted to go live to talk about the topic. And this episode is for you if you have been feeling the pull to share more, to step up your presence, whether it's social media, blogging, a newsletter. You feel the pull to express yourself more. You feel the pull to share your ideas, your insights, your learnings, your experiences. But it's maybe something has been holding you back. So this episode is going to give you not one, not two, not three, but 15 reasons to share your ideas on a social media or on a blog or a newsletter in whatever way works for you. And by the way, most of these reasons are valid whether you want to share your ideas on video or podcasting. Some of them are more about writing because this is the one area I have the most experience. So if you've been feeling the pull, but something holds you back, no, it is normal. It's actually surprising how any of us have a presence and we share, because from the moment we are born, and our first way of communication is crying, we get the message, stop crying. Our cry is not really welcome. And then you're in class and you have to sit still and silent. Actually, even nowadays, in some schools, you get a punishment if you speak to the person next to you. You have to sit still and silent and listen to the teacher. So in the UK, there was this saying that kids are to be seen and not to be heard. When you were talking to your parents, maybe we've all had experience saying something and getting in trouble, maybe talking back, or something that's very common to all of our psyche and our child experiences is trying to out argue an adult and failing and feeling I can't get my point across because the adult is outsmarting me, and this feeling of helplessness, of inability to win an argument, because as a child you cannot win an argument with an adult. You're usually outsmarted. So we have these experiences growing up, and then you're becoming an adult and you will have accumulated more and more of these experiences of having said the wrong thing. Did you say too much? Did you take too much space? Did you insult someone? Did you make an insensitive joke? People will tell you, your partner or your parents, what did you say? You shouldn't have said that. And taking someone else's sharing an idea and not attributed credit, and then feeling, oh, horrible. That feels icky when it happens. There's so much baggage coming along with sharing. So it's normal. A lot of us might be feeling some resistance, even physically in our throat. I remember for years I kept getting like throat illnesses, and I was wondering whether there's something psychological here, whether this is my body trying to hold me back and keep me safe. Because for many of us, our subconscious feels, if I keep my head down, do my work, don't share much, especially on social media where everyone is getting canceled nowadays and the trolls are there and they get judgment, I'll be safe. Okay. So if you're feeling you wanted to share more, but something has been holding you back, now you know why. And it's okay. It's okay. It's a lot what we're carrying. And there's a lot what we need to overcome to actually start sharing. But I have to tell you, when you do start sharing, it's an incredible journey and it's fun and it's very rewarding. And are you ready to go through the 15 reasons? Like I shared all of this, all the buckets we're carrying and why we're not doing it if we haven't done it so far, or why we might feel some resistance, even physically in our throat, in actually raising our voice and having a voice and sharing it and owning the space and owning our opinions and standing up for something. So if you're coming on, please do comment because I have no way of seeing if you're on. So say hi, whether you're live on the replay, Feel free to comment, ask questions. Let's interact with each other. This is a live show. That's the reason. And I'm ready to get started. Are you? All right. First one, higher self content. And let me share what I mean by this because I know it's not very obvious. We are bombarded every day by content, by news, by publications that they make their money if you click, right? Because they need eyeballs. And the reason for you, the best way to make you click is to stimulate either a fear response or an anger response. So, most of the media available for us to consume, most of the content available to consume, speaks to the lowest, weakest, darkest parts of ourselves. Speaks to either the fearful child or the angry parent. We're all carrying within us a fearful child and an angry parent. And they're trying to stimulate these parts of ourselves. So if you're someone who can share ideas talking adult to adult, constructive, positive, not fear mongering, talking to the intellect or to the human emotions, but not the cheap emotions, the higher emotions, you will be doing the world a huge service. We need this type of content more than ever. Second, you have a unique perspective that has been formed by your individual experiences. If you do not share it, nobody else will. And I'll be teaching in my Thought Leader course how your experiences form the way you share, how your metaphors, your learnings, the stories make your message so much more powerful. Maybe you're sharing the same message as someone else, but because it will be said and transmitted with your voice, painted through your experiences, it will reach people differently. And there are certain people out there that will only get this message if it comes from you. You might be sharing the same message, and a lot of times it's not the same message, but let's say you're sharing the same message as someone else. Like me, am I sharing a message? We need to live in the present. So many other leaders have said that, spiritual leaders and otherwise. But maybe you share a story of when did you had this aha moment? How did you come to realize? How has it improved your life? And this packaging of this message makes it unique and might reach people that this message would not have reached otherwise. And these people might start being present thanks to you. Giving content, sharing content is giving back. And there's something I want to share here about being a role model. There's a breakthrough I had recently, and it was shared by Felicity Morgan. She's a coach in Australia. And she said something that felt very true to me. She said, it's a lot easier to help someone by being a role model than actually go in and help them. And I realized, and I had a lot of people, a lot of coaches, that the biggest changes I've done in my life, it wasn't through information or teaching, but it was through inspiration about seeing someone, how they were living their life. What did they have available to them? How did they carry themselves? How did they set boundaries? How did they integrate the different parts of their life? How does a good marriage look like? How does a good parenting looks like? How does a good leader looks like? So being a model is actually more important than teaching or more helpful. And sharing some of ourselves and some of our experiences and some of our lives, even in social media, it is giving back. It is providing a role model, because there will be people who will start getting inspiration from you, and there will be people who look like you. And whatever minority you are, someone, it could be the women, like I am a woman business owner, and I want to inspire other women to see, oh, look, I have role models of women business owners. I didn't have so many role models of women business owners when I grew up. I want to be a role model for younger women entrepreneurs or people coming from Greece or whatever minority you might find yourself, because we all, like whatever it is, age or young women entrepreneurs or mother women entrepreneurs or people living abroad or whatever it is, that someone can find and identify with you and have you as a role model. This is your way of giving back by being a little bit out there. And I understand you may want your privacy, but this is how can you keep the most important things you want to keep private, but also how can you be a role model for people? And for that, you need to be visible. And it's important to know that until recently, if you were coming from a certain part of the society that didn't have access to, people didn't move in the circles of entrepreneurs, successful executives, or very educated people, you couldn't have access. There was this social ceiling that now disappears in social media, because you could be in any place of the world, but you can have access to the mindset, to know what's possible of very successful people, whatever it is, what you think successful. Maybe someone who has a good relationship, a good body, or a good business. It doesn't matter. Everyone defines success in their own terms. But there's something around being a role model that gives back to the community, which is super powerful. Number 4, writing and sharing gives more meaning to your journey. There's something that happens when you share consistently your insights and your learnings. You start approaching your life looking for the insight, looking for the learning. You become a little more present to what is happening. You actually live your life and you're thinking, how will this story play out on the inside? What am I learning from this that I can share with my community? And it's like you're going through some difficult experiences, and you're not going through them only for you. You're going through them and for you and your community, that you're going to share later what you learned and how this difficult experience helped you. It's like turning challenge into gold. It is providing a meaning. Otherwise, what's the point of having negative experiences? There's a new meaning of saying, I had a negative experience. I learned something. I shared it with my community. I helped other people not to go through this, or feel they are met and understood by someone who went through this, and giving them hope that there is light in the end of the tunnel, and someone got through this difficult experience and now they're okay. There's so much meaning when we look for the inside and we share it. Our challenges can be someone's help to either prevent them, go through them quicker. There's meaning. Number 5, when you write your ideas, you sharpen them. You make them clearer. Also, let's not forget, it's a very therapeutic process as well. Putting things down, journaling is one of the therapeutic practices. So writing and sharing, but also publishing, helps you sharpen your ideas. Because when you share an idea and it's out there in the world, people can comment, can compliment it, can challenge it, and that's fine. If you're someone who wants to evolve your ideas and you're not, so you have a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset that resists feedback, and feedback is a threat to your self-worth and identity, actually saying, I have this idea, and someone says, that's not right because of this and this, and you say, oh, thank you, I'm updating the idea. That's fine. That's you grow so much faster when you're sharing. It's like tech companies launching products, getting feedback, improving the products, rather than, imagine you're creating a product for years and in closed doors, rather than launching it and getting feedback from real users. And yet when you launch it, you see nobody's using it, for example, and you wasted a few years developing a product that you hadn't tested in the market. It's the same with your ideas. You make them sharper with the process of writing them, because you need to clarify them and figure out a way to make them understandable. Let's say, in order to test if you know something, try explaining it in a 5-year-old. to a 5-year-old. And it's the same when you're writing. How can I make this idea simpler, more crystal clear? How can I remove all the things it doesn't need? How can I explain it better? That helps evolve your thinking. And a lot of the times, I have to say, I develop content driven by a question that I don't know the answer. Especially when I started blogging, and I was writing a lot of even parenting articles. I had a question: how do I protect my daughter from gender stereotypes? Like, I had an interaction in the park, something sparked this question. So I wrote an article: how do I protect my daughter from gender stereotypes? And I did the research and I wrote the article because it was a question I was interested in and I didn't have the answer. I wrote in order to answer to myself. And this was the first article I wrote that was picked up by Huffington Post. It was the third ever article I written, but it wasn't something I had expertise in. It was something I was interested in. And I decided that through the writing an article, I'll answer my own question. Number 6 is legacy. When you write, you leave something tangible behind. You and your children can access it, and your grandchildren can access it. There's something unique of downloading everything that's in your brain or something that's in your brain in a physical form and offering it to the world and having the next generations who are interested in what you were thinking, what you were learning, what you were experiencing, to go back and find that information. I think there's something beautiful in that, of the permanency that of the written content. Like, I'm Greek. We read Homerus' works 2,000, 3,000 years later, and they're still beautiful and they touch us. Or all the Stoicism, they're still super wise and relevant today. There's something around leaving a legacy and connecting through the ages with the next generations. Also, it does serve a way to connect to your younger self. And I found that useful recently. I launched my Parent Path course, and it was around integrating parenting and career and developing a great relationship with your child. And I had in my cohort, I had people who were pregnant and about to give birth. I had people who had a newborn. And initially, when they were introducing themselves, I said, "Oh, I don't remember much of that period of my life. I wasn't sleeping." And then I corrected myself. I was actually, I don't remember, but I was blogging in that period of my life. Let me go back and read my blogs a week before giving birth. Me being with a 1 week old, me with a 1 month old. And I read my blogs and I remembered everything. And it was so easier for me to connect with my younger self, but most importantly, for me to connect with the students of Parent Path, that they were in a different part of their journey. But because I had documented my feelings and my thoughts and my worries, it was easy for me to remember how it was and connect even better with them. Also, writing creates self-awareness for you. And this was the number one reason I started blogging in the first place. I was at a point in my career that I was thinking, I don't know what's next for me. And then I received a newsletter. I think it was from a company called Live Your Legend or something. And they said, the best way to know yourself and what you want to do next is start a blog, because you'll see what you blog about. And I said, okay, let me do that. And I started blogging on Medium, and I would blog for whatever I was interested in. And it could be parenting, because I was a new mother at the point, and I was writing a lot about parenting, and then leadership, and then personal development, and then I was sharing my experiences. And after a year of blogging, I looked back at what I had written, and there was nothing there about advertising. And I was working at Google in the global sales organization. And that was a clear signal for me to say, okay, I wrote for a year on whatever I was interested in, and this is what I'm interested in, and this is what I didn't write about. And that's how actually I was very clear that I needed to leave the world of advertising and enter the world more. I was already doing coaching, self-development, and leadership. So if you write whatever interests you, after a while, you will see the pattern. You will see what interests you, and that will inform your strategy and next steps. Idea-meritocracy. This is something I love in the social media space and the blogging space, that it doesn't matter. A lot of the things that hold us back in the corporate world, it could be our color and our gender and our age and our location and our clothes even. When you're writing on social media or you're blogging, they don't matter. Because if you share something that resonates with people, people like it and share it. They don't care. Yes, if you have an authority, maybe more people follow you. But I think the democratization of content creation and publishing is an incredible opportunity for many of us who had great ideas, but maybe we wouldn't have been picked by the traditional institutions of publications and publishers or even the traditional media. You can, for free, start sharing your ideas, connecting with people. And if your ideas resonate with people, you start building a brand, a community, and it doesn't matter what age you are, what education you have. People will connect with you if they resonate with your ideas. So I love this part of idea meritocracy. 10. It is fun. We are inherently creative. The universe is inherently creative, right? There's new stars being created all the time. There's some force in the acorn that will turn the acorn into an oak tree, right? There's this creative force in the universe, and there's this creative force in us. And we know when we have children or when we observe children, they'll be so creative. They will be drawing and creating Lego towers, and they are constantly in the stream of creation. And for many of us, we have disconnected from our creativity and going back into writing and sharing. This is art. This is our art that we're sharing with the world. We can get into playful mode, and there's this journey of spark of inspiration, creation, shipping that can be extremely fun. There's not a boring moment. If you're a content creation, there's not a boring moment anymore. You're waiting in a queue and you're bored. You say, okay, this is a good opportunity. Let me write a post right now. I have some time to kill. Like, the boredom is gone, fun is in, because you're always in this creative self-expression mode, which is extremely fun. Number 11, community. When you share your ideas publicly, you will inevitably connect with like-minded people. Your content serves this dual purpose of attracting like-minded people that who share your values and ideas and insights, and they resonate with what you're saying. And your content weeds out people who are not a good fit, actually. So it helps you, and you could end up with having a worldwide community of like-minded people, having a village online. And it's such a beautiful thing. I remember when I started writing, I was in a sabbatical, and there was another ex-corporate, newly sabbatical entrepreneur mom in Colorado, and she read my blogs and she started blogging too, inspired by what I was writing. And we still keep in touch. All this year later, I follow her work, she follows mine, we're supporting, and I'm cheering her on. And I met her through my writing, and I stay in touch through her writing. And I know she's a coach now, supporting moms who leave the corporate race, and they want to spend more time with their businesses and with freedom and their children and their families. So it's like I have a sister, and I'll tell her name, Christy Andrews, if you want to follow her. And many other people like this that I met through the writing, and they're like-minded, and she might be on the other side of the pond, on the other side of the world. It doesn't matter. You build your community, you build your people who you keep inspiring each other. Number 12, attract opportunities. This is a huge one, and I've written an article, do not chase, attract, that you might want to go to my website, theladypath.com, and look for the blog, search for attract, not chase. It's a big thing. It's just incredible. And I wouldn't say you should start doing this for this reason specifically, because that's out of your control. But inevitably, like, I started writing in my third blog, as I told you, Huffington Post reached out and they wanted to publish my blog. Penguin at some point reached out and they wanted me to write a book for them, which I did, hold successful meetings. Last year, TEDx, Patras reached out and they wanted me to give a TEDx for their event, which I did. And in the meantime, almost all my coaching clients have come through my content. It's just incredible, like hundreds of thousands of worth of business in the last few years of my coaching company. All of these opportunities come through content. And the great thing is, because I talk with other business owners and they have to cold call and they say, oh, business development is hard and sales is hard and they're going through hard times. But then when I talk about how I do it, I say I just write and clients come, they say, oh, writing is hard. I'm like, really? And by the way, if you don't like writing, you don't have to write. But is it harder than actually knocking on doors and trying to build credibility? And what's more, when you attract the opportunities because of some content you created, you don't even, if you have a meeting, let's say to sell a big project, you don't even have to sell yourself too hard because they're already positive. They already know who you are. They reached out, and it's more they need to sell themselves to you. Like you're the buyer because they reached out. Like the dynamic is totally different than you knocking the door and say, I'm selling this product or service. Are you interested? And they have no idea who you are, versus whatever opportunities they are reaching out because they know you have something they want, some expertise, some idea, some presence. And then you're the buyer. You say yes or no, which is incredible. Number 13 is the leverage. And writing, especially if you write something more durable, like a blog or a YouTube video, or for me, Medium articles as well, something that people can find through years. And social media, they're more durable or less, depends. Social media have a lot of reach, less durability. Blogs, YouTube have more durability in my experience. But look at this piece of content, whatever it is, maybe a blog. Let's talk about a blog because we're talking about writing. Like a worker, like a free worker, actually. You don't pay them and they work day and night for you. Imagine you write a blog and let's be conservative, 500 people read it. And they get your idea, right? Imagine if you had to meet, even to have a 10-minute chat, even, or a coffee with 500 people. It would have been impossible. So, media is one of the few, we can count them in our hand, the ways you can create leverage. You write the article once, and then hundreds, if not thousands of people can read it, and you don't have to sit with those people to share this idea. This is leverage. This is a worker you have created, sharing your idea when you sleep to more and more people for many years to come, which is incredible, right? Rather than sharing an idea in a meeting and then it's lost. All right. Number 14. We're in the final line here. Number 14 is future-proof your career. So there's something here of when you share your ideas consistently, something inevitable will happen. You will build a personal brand. People will come to expect that you are the person who shares interesting ideas or interesting content. They start liking you and trusting you. And that creates your personal brand. Why does a personal brand future-proof your career? Because in comparison to a company brand, a personal brand, you take it with you whether you change jobs or you change businesses. I have a personal brand now, and I'm selling coaching, team coaching, one-to-one coaching programs on several areas, right? The leadership, vision, team development. Let's say tomorrow I want to start a business selling socks. I've got this idea with the socks from another coach, Stephanie and Houston. She always said, I can sell socks tomorrow. And let's say I have a change of heart and I fell in love with socks and I want to start selling socks. All this brand equity will translate to socks, because I will still have the same followers and I can launch my sock business to the followers or the people who read the content. That's future proofing. That means I will never have to start from scratch. Well, if you just build a brand of a company or you don't build any brand, you might want to start from scratch when you're changing your career, right? That's something to bear in mind of the benefits of writing. And the last one is there's a lot of research that when you write and share ideas, it keeps your mind young. Like there is, to prevent any mind brain deterioration with age, what they tell you is read and write. That's the one thing you do to keep your brain sharp and young. Okay, what did you think? These were the 15 reasons. I know I've shared a lot. Are you convinced? Are you excited to start writing? Right? I would love to see more of great ideas, great content, great experiences. I would love to have access to more of you, the successful, thoughtful, smart people in my community that you're leading something great, whether that's a business, a team, parenting, marriage, whatever your area of something you've mastered, or something you're learning. Like, as I said, when I started, I didn't know the answers. I was using writing to find the answers for myself, and I was compiling the research and I was translating them in more terms I could understand and my audience could understand. Are you interested in this? I have a comment. True, writing provokes you to think deeply. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you, Vimal, for commenting. I feel great when there's some interactions or contributions, so thank you for that. So, for those of you who are interested and you want to stay, I will move on now to speak about my Thought Leader program. For those of you who wanted this nudge, this push to start sharing more through writing, and this is the episode. And if you feel complete, you can say bye-bye now. And for those of you interested to hear more about my Thought Leader program, you can stay. All right. So, Thought Leader. We start on the 20th of March. This is a live program. It will have live delivery modules from me, and it will have group coaching to group coaching calls as well. It's a 2-week program, and then you have lifetime access. So several trainings a week, lifetime access to the replays. There will be a community. They will be writing prompts with examples of the most successful posts I've made and why did they work, and giving you some inspiration to start writing. There will be a writing challenge. I would like you to publish 10 posts wherever you want during those 2 weeks. If you want, the writing challenge is optional, but the winner will be featured on my socials. I have like more than 20,000 followers combined with LinkedIn and Instagram and my newsletter. So that will be fun to create some. Let's do this for 2 weeks. Let's share some content. Let's write. And you can ask for feedback from your peers. You can bring something to the group coaching calls. So what will I be sharing during this program, right? I will be sharing the writing mindset, right? How do you move from all this baggage I shared in the beginning of this workshop of feeling a little bit fearful to having a voice, to actually sharing? And okay, and I don't want to give away. It's hard to talk about the course without giving you spoilers. I want to keep the wonderful experiences for the people who are in. How do you find what to talk about? Where should you publish it? What's the process so that it's effortless and fun? And I'm talking about writing social media, blogs, newsletters, and book, because I've published a book and I know many people will have questions about a book. I'll cover that as well. What's different when you're writing social media posts versus an article versus a newsletter versus a book? How do you edit your work? How do you improve the quality? How do you improve the consistency so you maximize your impact? And how can you, once you created it, how do you help increase the reach of your content so you make more of a difference? So this is what I'll be covering: finding your unique voice, what to talk about, where to talk about it, how do you edit it, how do you increase consistency and quality, and how do you improve the reach. This is what I'm going to share. And there's going to be a lot of coaching and feedback. There is an upgrade platinum options that you get the program. The program is an early bird right now, just $150. It will go up. But if you wanted one-to-one coaching with me to get your writing strategy in place, to get personalized feedback, you have an option for the Thought Leader Platinum, which is the program and the one-to-one coaching. I know some people want the one-to-one. And that is it. We start 20th of March. If you're thinking, do I have the time for this? This is a lifetime access. Like, it's not, yes, it's fun. I want to give you some encouragement. If you want to do the writing challenge, you don't have to do it. You will still get all the value and all the content. Even if you say, look, I'll be by the program and then I'll watch the replays. It's still, I think, super valuable. But yeah, if you want for 2 weeks to get this push in community and cheerleading to start writing, also you can do that and participate in the writing challenge. That's a bonus in the program. Any questions, let me know. You can find the link on the featured, it's theleaderpath.com /thought leader. Actually, I should have created a banner on this. Let me create that now. But if you're on LinkedIn, you can find the link in the feature. Did I write this correctly? I think I did. If you're on LinkedIn, you can find it in the feature section of my profile. If you're on YouTube, this is the link. If you go to theleaderpath.com on the programs, scroll down, you'll find Thought Leader. And if this sounds like fun, I hope to see you there and talk to you soon. I think my next episode, because I'm very into this, preparing for Thought Leader, will be around how to let go some of this things that are holding you back in writing. So stay tuned for my next episode and newsletter as well. Depends whether you write like video, live content, and a lot of this is in my newsletter too. Let me see. I have one more comment. How much is the platinum program? If I tell you I don't remember, I think it is 1,111. I think something like that. And it has two 45-minute calls as well. We can go to the link and see. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much. And I'm looking forward. You joined this call because you want to write more. So if you want to tag me, if you've been inspired to write more, please tag me so I can cheer you on and like your posts and comment and talk to you in the internet. Take care.